So, okay. So what I've done, we've just posted the first two press releases. First one sort of welcoming the group and letting you know where we're roughly at, and the second one is releasing the details for the website. So the website, just so we understand what went on, we couldn't get access. Basically, we didn't get the passcodes from VizRT for the Lightwave website. So we had to put one together in the last 3 days, which is the website that is gone live today. So when we get access to the passcodes from VizRT, we're obviously going to revamp the main Lightwave website as well. But obviously we can't do that and haven't done that yet. So the current website there is 3 days work. So it's got the ability to sort of do upgrades now if you want to. Also got some merchandising stuff on there, t-shirts and those sort of things available. Everything we make from that goes straight back into Lightwave. So basically we've got our investor team investing in Lightwave, and obviously any money we get from upgrades, early upgrades, people coming back into the fold, which I think is the mothership offer. All of that, everything goes straight into programming. Okay, so it isn't dead money, it's live money. The shares that we're offering, so just to explain that part of it, basically the idea is, and this is only open to people who either own Lightwave or have Lightwave in the past who are coming back, and for the beta group, etc. We're giving everybody who does the first update a share. You get a free share and you get a t-shirt. So there is an option there if people want to buy more shares, 5 shares, and that offer I think also gives you 20% off for life as well. So just remember, all of that is purely for the Lightwave community. It is so that you guys hopefully feel involved and feel like you have a bit of a stake in Lightwave ongoing. And as you can see, there's no subscription on there at all. But we will be offering things like that at some point in the future. But as I think I mentioned on an earlier post, we'll be offering multiple options for getting involved for people coming later. With regards to the shares options that are there for you now, they are there only for a limited period. I don't know how long we'll keep that up for, but basically the shares we're giving you now, at some point we'll close that off because the remaining shares will be for large investors as they invest into Lightwave going forward. So bear in mind the website is literally created in 3 days. There's bound to be some errors on there. The gallery we're going to improve. So at the moment it's got a limited amount of pictures, but we have a load more we're going to be posting up there in the next few days. And obviously if you have any great pieces of art you want to put up there in the gallery, get them to us and we'll get them over to be put up on the gallery as well. At the moment there's stuff going up there from Jet Cooper. He did all the props for things like Star Wars and hundreds of films. So some really good art going up there. And obviously I've seen you guys posting amazing art over the last few weeks, and animations and tutorials, which blew me away really. So on this temporary website, I'm not sure how much further we'll take that, but certainly when we get to do the Big Ups website, we're going to want as many tutorials as you guys can supply to put up there as well, and obviously again more artwork and that kind of stuff. So it is literally the start of what we intend to be a full access, really, both for us talking to you guys and you guys coming back to us and adding to it, and obviously clearly getting involved with suggesting features and everything. So the idea is we help each other. So the more tutorials that get posted, the more people will gain from that. and obviously we're eventually going to add an asset store so that we can post up assets people can share, and then there'll also be a retail store. So if people are creating plugins or assets they want to charge for, we're going to do that too, all through the store. But obviously we're early days. So officially today is the day where everything goes live. So just bear in mind there are going to be some bugs and things of that nature.
We have a first question here from Arnowin.
Cool.
Wants to know the levels of support. Can you upgrade them? So, meaning, if you purchase level 1 right now, can you upgrade to level 2 later on?
So you're talking, so probably more a case of if you get upgrade 1, could you later on go for the 5 share option? So hadn't even thought that would be a possibility, but yeah, I'm sure we could find a way of making that work. So if you buy your upgrade now, I'll have a chat with Joe and see if we can do an offer so that you can upgrade to the 5 share option at a later date. I'm sure we can do something to make that work. At the end of the day, it's about trying to get you guys as fully involved with this as we can. And obviously, we want to give you incredible value back. So I should probably just should mention a little bit on what we're going to be doing, the updates, when those updates are going to be out. So I think Juice has already posted, I think, Q4 for the first update. So our target date is November. If we can get it out a little earlier, we will. But that's our target date for the first update. So what is going to be in the first update? I can't give you absolutes, but I can tell you that obviously all the stuff that was being worked on is being finished. Some stuff we've got being worked on is over and above what was planned for that update. So I'm wondering whether I can mention. I suppose I can, because okay. So let's. We're working on GeoNodes. So you're going to have geometry nodes in the first update. That's the first, I think, secret thing. And now we have to kill you. So basically, we're going to be adding that. There's some other things we're in negotiation with a few developers on to include now. One of them is commonly used, but we're trying to embed that into Lightwave as a set of updates. And then we also have another couple of people we're talking to add some other really cool features, again, directly into Lightwave. So not only will the first update include what was planned, but we're actually planning on adding to that to a fair degree. I can't give you an absolute, but we are going to add to that. So that first update is going to be very, very good value. We also, I just mentioned, Juice, the GeoNodes. Do I have to kill myself now?
I was just popping in here to say, yeah. So we've just taken a vote, and you're now outed.
And so, I'm not.
Now you're not. So no, it's.
So that's it, guys. We need a new person to run the company already on day 1 of May the 4th. Andy Bishop is anyway. So also we've got the second update plan. So that is going to be for May the 4th next year. So that one we've got a lot of it sort of penciled out already. What's going to be in that update? Whether we have the start of some of the new render technologies we're aiming to add, I'm not sure, but we are going to be doing some major updates on the rendering side. And we have a fantastic, I can't tell you what it is, but we have a fantastic strategic partnership with a massive company who we're just at the beginning of negotiations with, but it's already started really well. And that would be something I think we'd probably start trying to implement by upgrade 2. Certainly it will be in upgrade 3. So basically upgrade 1 is going to be very good value. It's what was originally planned plus a couple of other really cool features, and then upgrade 2 will be similar sort of size upgrade, I would think. And then the third update should be, hopefully really will show you at that point the direction we're moving in and what we want to deliver long term. Um, I think that's probably me talked out on that subject. I've already said too much. Any more? What's the next question? Any,
Well, I think I'm just kind of scanning the chat over here, and it looks like that everyone's really upset that they are. I'm seeing an awful lot of thumbs down and crying
oh,
and
yeah.
no, actually, seems like it's really doing good. And John Marchand asks, "Are you modeling the new T-shirt? So is this the T-shirt that's available on the site?"
Yes, I am. And if I was a little slimmer, I'd stand up and show it to you properly. But unfortunately, I'm not. But yeah, that's the new T-shirt made out of really high quality organic cotton, very fine quality, and so all the products we intend to supply are going to be top notch. So well, I think we're going to, at the moment, the current sweatshirt. I think the ones that we were looking at initially were European markets. They tend to be a little slimmer, so a large for European tend to be tighter fitting. The American cut of the same sweatshirt is slightly baggier. I think that's the one we're going to go with. So we're going to do that. We are going to add some other things on at some point, some more variations of sweatshirt. But at the moment, we've done white and black. So with and obviously this one is the black one. It isn't that I haven't washed it for the 2 weeks I've worn it, but I
And
do smell.
and so
So yeah.
another question here of well, another thing is a suggestion to add the option not to get anything shipped, as everything adds up with extra VAT and import duties that way. Download and stock only. One other thing is this the T-shirt that comes with the license? So
Yes. Yes. I think my one. Yeah. So you see here, you probably just see it. Mine has the little kink in it, which is the old logo. So this was the first run of T-shirts we did just to test out. It printed well and looked good. And basically, the new one doesn't have the little kink in it. That's the new version of the logo from 2020. So basically, your ones will have the non-kinked version. If
oh,
you have a kinked version,
but we like
it will
kinky.
become worth more money. Huh?
We like
Yeah.
kinky.
Yeah. Is that some slight at the English?
Uh,
I yeah. So so okay. Yeah, so that is the T-shirt. So the hoodie as well is fantastic. In fact, Juice, if you can talk for about a minute and a half, I'll just go and grab the sweatshirt and show it to you. Shall I do that?
sounds good.
Give
Sounds
me a
good.
second.
Just looking here. Would it be a lightweight theme song? Um, I, don't tempt him. He might break out the axe and just get going on it. Uh, okay. So any hiccups? I just noticed here that GraphX has had an issue with store accepting payments. Um, Please, we will try to address as we can. Um, we'll try to sort anything out. It's going to be its release day. Going to have to be just a little bit patient. Um, the release date. Okay, the release date of Lightwave 2023. If we're still calling it, if we're at least currently we're going to reference it as 2023. What we're looking at is the first release is around November of this year. We're actually targeting quarter 4, but we're targeting uh, November. If we can do it earlier, we will. If we can't, then it'll slide into December. The next release is scheduled for May 4th of the following year. So that's where we stand on release dates as a rehash. Um, and as Andy is, I don't know if he can hear me. He probably can. So questions to adopt Vulcan and metal. I will.
Yeah. So I only vaguely remember Elmer talking about this. That actually takes quite a long while to implement that. But it is our long-term aim to do that. I think on the next update, probably not. Um, I understand it's about. I think it's at least 6 to 7 months. I mean, Elmer will know better than me, but it's going to take quite a while to to do that. So whether that will be on the first, second, or third update, I don't know, but it will be something that we've got on the roadmap, but it isn't something I think we can do instantaneously. But yeah, so hopefully that answers that.
Another quick question: will Lightwave 2023 work with Linux even through Wine? Now, I know that we've been talking about how to make Lightwave more Wine compatible, but do you think we'll be able to get into that for the 2023 release?
Yeah, so we've obviously been talking, amongst ourselves about doing a Linux conversion. So it's absolutely, definitely on our plan to do it, and we want to do it properly. Again, it's down to partly our priorities because obviously this is effectively a brand new team. We've got a shed load of work to go through the existing code and look at the existing code and work out what things need improving in what order. And the problem is with these things, there is a mountain of things which we want to add. So there's big features, terrain generators, new character system, AI for the character system. I mean, stacks and stacks of things we want to add. But one of the problems also, you also need to go back under the underlying code and try to tidy that up. So a lot of it's been modernized in the layout. The modeler needs a lot more work. We've got a lot of consolidating to do on some of the plugins and even the savers and loaders. There's obviously work to do with them, FBX and so on. So it's really a problem of what our priorities are in what order, and therefore where does Linux sit with that. Chances are is that we'll probably want to start getting the conversion of that done fairly quickly, but it may not be until after update 1. I can't give you a date on it, but it is absolutely, we've talked about it 2 or 3 times, and it is absolutely on the radar to do. I just not certain about how fast we can get that done. And by the way, when I say not fast, I'm not talking years away. It's more about, is it going to be something we can convert properly and make it work really well quickly, or is that going to take us 6 months, 7 months to do that properly, in which case it will miss the first, maybe even the second update. So we've just got to look at the underlying code. So remember, we got the code officially handed over, about a week ago, Juice?
I think it's about that.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so about a week ago we got the code. We're only just at the very beginning stages of analysing that and going through it. Our first priority was to look at the updates that were there and sort of see how we can fix those or finish those. But also, there's things like out of the box, things we just want to make it much simpler for people to set up for rendering, all of those sort of things for presets and what the basic things are that enable you to get a good render out. And likewise, we've got to, when we're doing stuff, not break other things. So we do have a mountain to climb to do what we plan to do. Again, I'll just chip it in. I think I've said this before. We have a 5-year plan for Lightwave to get it to where we want to get it. And if we get it to that level within the 5 years, it's going to be amazing. After that, we've got a secondary long-term plan that goes potentially through to 10 years. So unlike previous Lightwave updates, or the guys only Lightwave, we are planning long-term. This is not a short-term plan for us. Our aim is to be here and continually develop this ongoing and give you really good updates as we progress. Very much a portion of that will be user-led. So as we get feedback, like the adding Linux, we've had that all over the Discord channel being mentioned, and subsequently we talked about that straight away. It's just simply a question of time. Do you want to see the sweatshirt very quickly?
So quickly, here's the sweatshirt.
So that's the sweatshirt, the hoodie. It's really high quality. It's hard for me to show you that, but it's soft. There we go. And obviously the mug isn't, but the logo on that, and you can see, I think that's the older logo. There we go. See that? So, but the obviously the new ones will have the newer logo on it. So, but bear in mind that's just the start. We're going to have there'll be an animation attached to every product we produce. So as we produce the clothing, we're going to basically have a QR code either on the shoulder or the back that if you put a camera to it, it will show a light wave animation. I think the first one is the one that is on the website. The second one will probably be Sean's sort of Millennium Falcon, Lightwave logo. But they're basically all. If people submit a really great animation and obviously give us permission to actually do it, we'll add to each new design of T-shirt, an animation will be attached. So that's going to be an ongoing thing. Either we'll create them or you guys create them, but the best animations done by everybody will go on there. So that's going to be an ongoing thing. It will be fireable from a cup. I don't think it's on the current cup, but anyway, on the current clothing it is. But longer term, we'll have it on everything we produce. So you'll have a little QR code, and it will just give a link to an animation. I don't know how best to do that. Whether we just get everybody to submit animations and we pick the ones that we like the most, but we could even have a voting system so that everybody could choose which one goes on the next T-shirt. Of course, we could end up with a boaty but boat face scenario. But anyway, we'll try to get you all actively involved with that. But that's very much going to be something ongoing.
Okay, I'm seeing an awful lot of questions having to do with what I know to be beyond our first two releases, such as targeting Linux directly rather than through Wine, such as supporting Apple Silicon, things. Now, I mean, so I would go ahead and say straight out that these things are in our thoughts, but they're certainly not going to be possible necessarily in the first release, and but they are on our plate. They are in our minds and in our thoughts.
Yes, I think that's 100% right. I think. I mean, the question on the Apple Silicon one is slightly easier. Does it work on the M2? Yes. So therefore, in theory, should work with the M3 and going forwards. But obviously, we'll be checking all that. So, but you mean full optimization? Yeah, might take some time.
One fast one that just came up, and we're going to go. I'll go ahead and I'll try to combine a few here again. What is the length of the 2023 license? Will it contain bug fixes? Is it how are we handling patches, bug fixes, things of this nature? And one question is, currently the website, this release website requires a password. Does that mean we can't share it? Does that mean how do we handle that if people if it gets discussed?
No, it's a really good question. I think, to be fair, I think we did the password so that it was, it's one of those whim things, really. I think we wanted it to be something that was for you, so therefore you all get the code, you all can unlock it, you can all enter it. I think if you want to pass that out to other people who might want to have a look at it, they're more than welcome to look at it outside the Lightwave community. Whether we take that lock system off in a few days or a couple of weeks, I haven't given that any thought. But obviously, if you save it in the passwords, you won't go to the lock page. It will just unlock automatically when you kick it open. So It was I think when you design these things, you're just trying to make it a little bit more interesting. And I think it was the idea of the keyhole was, oh, look, guys, you've got something special you can unlock. And that was the reason we did it. It's a bit whimsical, but if it ends up annoying you guys, we'll obviously just take that off. But that's why we did it. I have no other reason for it than that. So what Juice, what was the second question? What was the other one? It was about the other kind of update, wasn't it?
Yes, such as questions of. I mean, I'm seeing people asking things like, if I have 2019, if I don't have 2020, can I use this? And I believe Elmer said that. The 250 upgrade is, is there a separation between owners of 2020 as opposed to someone who doesn't have 2020 who has a prior version?
Yeah. So okay. So the three updates. The first update is for people who've got 2020 who want to update. That's what that was planned for. So the idea was to give you. So I'm going to talk through all three in detail. The first update is about trying to give all those people who stuck with Lightwave and who carried on using Lightwave, and for all of the problems, basically they're getting a share, a T-shirt, and the update. So the idea of the one share was to get you guys and thank you for all of the input over the last couple of weeks and all the suggestions, all of the everything basically that you've done. You get the share, the T-shirt, and that. So the second update, which is the return to the mothership update, so that was designed. And to be fair, I wasn't thinking about 2019 users then, so I probably need to have a chat with Juice and Elmar and Joe about that. I just didn't think of it. But basically, the idea was we had a load of people on Discord saying, look, I stopped using it a few years ago. I sold my Lightwave, but actually would like to come back in. Is there some kind of offer we're going to get for getting back involved? And the reality of it was a lot of those people had moved not because they wanted to, but because they just had to, because there was no updating happening, and the updates that were happening were minor, and it just wasn't great for them. So I wanted to do an update for those guys that was also saying, look, thank you so much for getting back involved. And so it's one share, it's basically the T-shirt, it's the update, but also access to 2020. So that they've got the current version, although that's not ours. I mean, it is, we own it, but it is effectively not, we haven't updated that one. So they get something they can use while they're waiting for the update to come out, and they get the T-shirt and they get the share. So that was specifically designed to get people back involved with Lightwave, and also get them involved so they feel they're part of it. So hence the one share. The last offer was for people, so obviously, what's very important to mention is everything that comes in, basically the quicker it comes in, the more we can invest, right? The more we put into Lightwave. So what we have currently is a bunch of investors who've helped us get the money to buy Lightwave. We've got some more over for helping us invest in actual Lightwave development as well, of which we're going to continue trying to get more of that long term. But that's going to take us time to get. So the key thing with the updates, and I'll come back to offer 3 in a second. The key thing with the updates is actually what that does is anything we get in, it proves to external people, I'm more thinking banks than I am investors, that there is a community and that people are getting involved and it's actually selling, etc. Actually, any money you put in, we can actually double that with the bank, right? So if you guys, so let's say, I think the last update for Lightwave, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, produced much more money than NewTek I think were expecting. I can't say the amount, but it was more than they were expecting. That kind of money combined with the bank, combined with the investors, would effectively bankroll us for 3-4 years ahead if we can do that. So that is the reason why we kind of are encouraging everybody, if we can, to try to get involved as soon as you possibly can. So first one was for existing users, 2020s. The second offer was to try to get people back involved who have loved Lightwave, kind of would like to get back involved with it, but just need a really good excuse. That's number two. So they're getting Lightwave ultra cheap. If they've sold their Lightwave, they're getting it basically cheap, but they also get the update and use of the current one. And then the last one is for those guys who might have a little bit more money. If they want to, they can buy 5 shares, and they in exchange for that, they get the 5 shares T-shirt and the update, but they also get 20% off ongoing on all future updates as it goes forward. So it hopefully covers what everybody wants straight away, and obviously we ideally want everybody to get involved and get updating as soon as you can. There were some. I mean, just going back to the first update, for a couple of people said, "Oh, I want it for $50, right?" And actually, that's what's happening with the first update. I mean, the update basically, you're getting a share, you're getting the T-shirt, and you're getting the update for $250. It's exceptionally good value. So that one is if you can't afford to do the bigger update, go for that one. If you have extra money and want to help us more, obviously do the 5 share update. And obviously, I think everybody should be wearing the T-shirts every day. So you're going to need 7 T-shirts and a couple of hoodies. No, I'm kidding. So if you can buy that sort of stuff as well, it all again goes straight into Lightwave development. So and bear in mind that we're not reliant on that. We've got external developers, investors, but it is just going to make our lives much easier. We can pay for much bigger developers. There's a couple of real top guys, but they are really expensive, who want to join us, and obviously those sort of things we hadn't budgeted for. So what happens with you sort of getting involved is you give us the options to do those things, which means we can develop faster, which means the updates will be bigger. And that really is what this is primarily about. I think that's a fairly good explanation of that, Juice. Yes?
I think so.
That makes sense?
I think so. Let's touch on one thing that I'm seeing in a number of places, and this has to do with third party. So questions about SDK availability. Is it going to be the same as it has been? Is it going to be a different SDK? And are we reaching out to people such as HDR Light Studio, Octane, other third party that that I know that we've talked about that we really want, but what's our feeling and everything about third party?
Well, okay. So we've got to build the third party development again, right? So Lightwave obviously has dropped down the pecking order massively over the last sort of 7-8 years, and basically some of those developers have gone and that won't want to come back. By the way, some of those developers have gone who aren't coming back have still want to help. They've made some offers that are really very good. So there's some things there we're going to do. So we want to encourage new developers. So the SDK at the moment, so imagine at the moment we've got an SDK that's this. We want to enlarge that SDK and make it better and more accessible as quickly as we possibly can. So the aim is to make the SDK better. We also want to give significantly better access to the rendering capability or to third-party render engines. So obviously that includes OTOI and Octane. So one of the problems with the Octane guys when that was being developed was that Lightwave's SDK restricted some of the things they could do. Now we know that, so we've got a plan to remedy that. Again, that's going to take us a little while to do, but the aim is to widen that to make it significantly easier for third-party render engines to attach. That also applies to things like Unity and Unreal. So we have a very good link to Unreal at the moment. We want to improve the one we've got to Unity, and we're having or just starting a really good discussion with one of those guys about going it further. Is all I can say. So on the SDK, yes, we very much want to encourage third-party people, and in fact, once we produce the full website back, when we get control of the Lightwave website, we want to be able to help sell other people's gear on there as well. So if third parties are getting back involved, we really want to help them. It won't just be lip service. We want to encourage it. We want those plugins to be great. And if they're really great, we are going to want to do everything we can to encourage the sale of those products, because it only helps the community and only helps Lightwave. Obviously, again, with the tutorials, we want those tutorials for those third-party plugins also to be in the main area of Lightwave. So basically, Lightwave will have a community hub where everybody can just come there, and all sort of training, asset libraries, new textures that we're posting or whatever the case may be, will all be on there. So I mean, hopefully all of you who've got involved already see that we want to be more engaged. So we want to talk to you more. We want to have more chats with you. We want to be involved with you as much of our time as we can. The same applies to the third-party people. We want to be involved with them, and we hope we can encourage some of them back, get some new ones as we take Lightwave further.
One real quick pop-up question, and it does seem to be not just one person, but it seems like there's a little bit of some issues with the store accepting payments from various and sundry people. So the main question is, how long is this offer going to be? So I mean, we hopefully
10 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping that
No.
we've got some time here to work out and sort out some of these issues that folks are having. But I mean, it's not just today, and it's not just for 10 minutes. It's what are we looking at as far as time?
No. I think there is a limit to the shares we can do this with, right? We think we've catered for a large portion of people updating to be able to cater for them to update and get the shares. If we run out, obviously we run out. But as it stands at the moment, we think we've got it covered with enough shares to cover all of you. At the time where that ends, I mean, if that's stretched out to when the first update came out, I don't think it's going to. But if it went to when the first update came out, it certainly I don't think we'll go beyond that. So it's a hard one to know. I think if we suddenly had stacks of people outside our community buying, it would probably cause us some. We might have to rethink, because it is a limited thing. I've tried to come back with a better answer than that, but obviously we'll try to keep that going as long as we can. As far as the buying now goes, so obviously we put this together in 3 days. So we know there's going to be glitches. Literally, we put it to the beta group an hour before we let you guys have it, and I swear to God, they sorted out some problems within 10 minutes. So we have remedied those already. So there was no ability to have a company detail, and I think VAT hopefully is on there now as well. So we kind of hopefully remedied the company issue in the last hour or so. It's done through Shopify, which is one of the big retail systems. So Shopify means you should better pay with MasterCard and Visa. I'm not sure PayPal isn't separate. So you have Shopify, you also have PayPal. Whether they sit together on the same thing, I'm not sure, but I've asked about PayPal as well. But at the moment, it's credit cards at the moment. Obviously, again, the same applies to Apple Pay. though again, I don't know how long that will take to implement, because sometimes they take a while to get through. Shopify, we've just done it; it's done and working. So if there's a problem with that, obviously let us know, and we'll keep on debugging over the next day or so. But orders have already gone through. I think Joe made the very first order. I've ordered a couple of T-shirts and a hoodie and a mug. And I know a load of the beta guys have also put their orders through, so it is working. So if you've had a problem, just try again. It could just be bad luck. If the whole thing grinds to a halt, it might be because too many people are ordering at once, but I don't think Shopify should have that problem. It should better handle a lot of sales at once. So, but obviously keep feeding back. We'll remedy it.
Mic on.
Okay, so what I'm also seeing here, I mean, a few people joined a little late. Now obviously I'm recording this so that we could review it back. But there's questions here on, if I buy option 1, will I get the first Apple Silicon update? Unreal Bridge, USD, import export, things of this nature. Is 2023 in beta already? So I think if we just kind of run over the basic roadmap that we currently have, at least for our first 2 releases, one more time to try to address kind of what we're looking at. Are we fixing bugs? Are we unifying the app? Are we doing real-time rendering in the viewports? All of the things. I mean, we understand, that people are wanting everything right now. I mean, it's not like people have been working on this for the last 3 years. I mean, it has been, on the shelf.
2 weeks.
So we just now pulled it down and have blown the dust off of it, and we're starting to look at what we can do. And our time frame, Q4 for this year for our first release. Hopefully the second release will be around May the 4th of next year. And so if you want to try to run through and try to remember exactly what you said before, because if you say anything more, then we will have to kill you. But at least,
So, yes, due to enthusiasm, basically, Juice is referring, for those who missed it, my mentioning that we were having a certain feature. I've already mentioned it. I might as well just do it again and have Elmer shoot me later. So we're okay. So basically, there was a load of stuff that was going to be included in the original release of 2021 or whatever it was going to be. So they are all being finished. So all the updates that were originally planned are being finished. Some of them are almost finished. Some of them are very, a month or so away. But we're getting those finished. So those updates are planned to be in the first thing.
It was that we were in the middle of working on the next release of Lightwave when we got the word and they turned off our lights. So, you know.
One of the first things we checked when we were buying it was that we had access to all of that code that was in development. There was also some quite big under the hood updates. So a lot of the layout has been updated code wise, and the work had started on the modeler, but things like the unification of tools in modeler hasn't really being done, but we are going to start doing that. And with regards to the layout, there are some things we've got in there which were discovered really on the last update before we took it over, where we've got some bottlenecks actually further under the code that we have to remedy, and that's going to take us a while to remedy those. So that first update will obviously have some bug fixes and those sort of things. Things like the FBX loader and Alembic loader, I know, are being worked on. So we'll have new versions of those that hopefully are bug-free. That's a terrible thing to say when you haven't checked them, but hopefully they'll be bug-free. And obviously we know only too well the problems with both of the FBX and Alembic loaders and savers just are hit and miss depending on what you're doing. We obviously want to remedy that. We've also there was a load of code that was in Lightwave that hadn't been developed. So there was a load of hooks for things, a load of bits in there that actually meant we could do a load of really cool stuff very quickly, which we've done. So things like, and I'm only mentioning this because I've already let the cat out the bag once. So in for a penny, in for a pound. Basically, we've got geo nodes in layout being worked on right now. They will be in the first update. So we'll have that. There are some third-party plugins that we are integrating or aiming to integrate. Whether they get completely finished by 1 or 2, not sure, but we certainly are going to have some of them in the first update. They'll probably be, even if they're not fully integrated in the first update, they will be by the second and third update. So the aim is to give you the update that was originally planned, plus a load of other functionality as well. All right. So it isn't just going to be what was planned, it is going to be more. However, obviously the integrating of Modeler and the layout will take us a little bit more than 6 months. So let's just talk about that. Juicy, I'm only going to skip over this in principle, but we've had, so first of all, why would you want that? And obviously it's because you want some more modeling tools, or the modeling tools in layout, so you can do that stuff. We absolutely know that. We want the same things too. We are aiming to sort that out, but it might take us a couple of versions to get there. So we will have more modeling capability in layout, definitely. We're going to work on it and are working on it. Whether we want to get rid of the modeler, not so certain we necessarily want to do that. Obviously, there are those who desperately want it integrated, but actually, there are some suggestions that happened over the last 2 weeks for the hub, which I'm not going to go through now, but they could give us some seriously cool capability if we implement it. Ironically, there were some things that Elmer and Juice and several others had wanted many, many years ago done with the hub, and what it wasn't done. And actually, I think, and I'm saying as though I'm the intelligent one, actually it is Elmer and Juice who are the brains of the operation. But the suggestion for the hub could be extraordinary, to keep that and keep the model and keep the layout. I can't tell you what it is, because I just don't want to give it away to the opposition. Not that they could do it, but actually it's such a good idea that it will take us a while to do, but it will give you and companies huge benefits if we do what we've got planned. So at some point we will put it on a roadmap, but not till we're closer to it. So we've got to do a bit of research first. We've got to look at it. We pretty much got a good idea of some things that could be done. All of us, I think, are in agreement to do it. Are we going to merge them? I don't think we will, but are we going to get the things that you need in layout to enable you to do model adjustment, sculpting, weight painting, whatever the case may be? Absolutely, we are. And so there's functionality in the layout that there is so much more than most people use that is hidden and that is really hard to use. And our job is obviously one of the jobs, obviously update it, improve it, make it much more powerful, blah, but it's also to take those things that are hidden, make them easier to use, much more accessible, and make them fun and give you huge amounts more capability. Now that is an area on its own we need to develop, and that we intend to do. So it is. I think I've answered that question. Was there anything I missed there, Juice? There was one question on the Apple Mac side about being the next update, being compatible with new Macs. Absolutely, we know that. So so the current version does work on the M2. I've tried it. I've got my M2 over there. It works. But obviously that is, we have to make sure that works on the next update. Whether it's fully implemented for all of the benefits on the Mac side, I think that's going to take us a while to do. But our aim is not to slow down Mac development. It's to, depending on our cache where we're pointing it, but our ideal aim is to improve Mac support, not lessen it. It's to how can we improve that and make it, punch much harder in that area, and so that is very much in our plans.
One thing that I'm seeing a question of, and I can see this as being, partly on the, come back to the mothership offer, and that is what if you're a new user? What if you don't have any copies of Lightwave? Or maybe what if you sold your copy of Lightwave because you got upset at the situation that it was in? So where is that? Is that the mothership?
I mean, everybody. That's the mothership. So the idea there. I mean, obviously, it was aimed at people who had Lightwave and sold it and want to come back. Right, so that's what we did it for. So it's exceptionally good value, because it will never be at that price again as we go forward. It's exceptionally good value, that upgrade. So the idea of that is to get people who've left Lightwave, and by the way, we're not trying to get you to stop using other things. It does us good to get feedback from people who are using other pieces of software. So a couple of our beta guys, they use Houdini and they use Mayor and they use other packages, and actually a lot of what the knowledge we need is how can we implement that great feature and, if possible, improve it from Mayor or from Houdini or from Blender or from whatever the case may be. The key though here is that obviously, because we're paying the developers, we can develop fast, and we'll be able to get updates and really cool features into this very quickly. Obviously, we're behind in some areas a lot, but in other areas, actually, Lightwave still holds up remarkably well. So I suppose getting back to the mothership offer, it was a friendly way of trying to encourage people back to us at a really good offer. Now, if you don't own Lightwave, I can't see. I mean, it wasn't designed for people, because obviously this is supposed to only be for the Lightwave community, right? So we're not going to be going public with offer for them to buy Lightwave, and even for the updates, until we've got something to shout about. So this is primarily for the Lightwave community and people who love Lightwave and who want to get back involved with Lightwave. It's for them. That said, if you haven't got Lightwave and you did that update, I'm pretty certain we can't stop you. So if you're here because you obviously are interested in what we're doing, and you want to be part of hopefully the community we're building, and our aim is to get this back to where Lightwave was at its peak. When I first started using Lightwave, and obviously I distributed Lightwave for a time, I used to go online to the Lightwave community and actually, I mean, a lot of those guys, Ron Thornton and his team, all of those guys were absolutely amazing. You literally could phone them up or email them and say, I've got this problem, God, can you think of it? And they would come back and give you suggestions. I did it, and that's how I got into doing films and TV shows when I started using Lightwave. It was literally because everybody helped, and everybody helped me. I think the first film we got was a little bit on James Bond GoldenEye, where one of my guys, Simon Coombs, did the satellite for that, and then we went on and did numerous other movies and so on. And we did those by the seat of our pants. We'd never done a movie before. We didn't tell anybody that, but we'd never done a movie before. And we only did it because of people like Ron helping and numerous people, basically. So the idea of this is exactly the same as that was then. Now remember, when Lightwave was doing that, Lightwave wasn't big. Lightwave became big because of the stuff that happened at that time. It was like a sweet spot of about 6 or 7 years where everybody just helped each other. The market grew extensively, and Lightwave ended up dominating television production in particular in America, but also being used heavily in film and TV worldwide. I think at one point we were certainly at least number 2 selling software in the UK, if not number 1. And at that point, 3D Studio Max was the number 1. And obviously in France and in Europe, it was selling in great numbers as well. So to make that, it requires a community. So you guys who have used Lightwave for years, who've had a rough journey, you guys who've left Lightwave are coming back, you guys who are just interested to see what we're doing. This isn't just about building Lightwave. It is about that, but it's about building the community and building knowledge and having fun again. It's about helping each other. It's about, we want to create extensive libraries of textures so that everybody can have access to those models, everything. And we don't want to have charges for those necessarily. I think the aim is to have a lot of that stuff for free so that you can just download it and utilize it. And it's to help everybody, tech support. Two of the guys on the beta side are helping with tech support over the next few months. Sean and Andy Kuhn, bless them, are helping us basically with tech support. But it's exactly what it should be. It's 2 very experienced users who can help you sort out problems as you start to get reused to using Lightwave, and hopefully will give you good advice. And of course, obviously, there's Juice, me, and we'll all be wanting to help as well in any way we possibly can. So that middle update, a long answer, that middle update is for obviously getting people back. But I think if anybody who hasn't got Lightwave happens to have found their way here, but want to get Lightwave and want to get involved, just bear in mind, when you do that update, you're getting the old version of Lightwave, but you also will get the update when it comes out in around November time. One last thing on the someone was asking about sort of general updates. I think Juice mentioned it just a few minutes ago. So obviously we'll do the main updates, so there'll be updates people can buy, but in between that there will be bug fixes. So if possible, as the team gets bigger and we can pump out those bug fixes quicker, we'll do it on a very regular basis. I don't think we have anything planned scheduling wise for that now, but the aim is get a bunch of bugs done, release it straight away, and if there's something that's hurting someone, we obviously target that as quickly as we can, get that fixed and get it out in a new build. So our aim has to be to support you creating great visuals and to hopefully sort out bugs as they come up and fix them as quickly as we can. Obviously, there are going to be some things that Lightwave has that might take longer to fix, but generally speaking, it will be to try to do things as quickly as we can. Breathe in. Okay.
All right. let me read a little section here, and we'll try to do these kind of like a speed round. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read it through.
Short answer.
Yep, short answer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read through here. Will there be an independent license for independent folk, such as like are we going to look at doing like a basic pro and studio license tier set or some sort of a thing? I know that we've discussed it, and I know that it probably things of this nature will not happen until probably after the second release, so sometime next year, because the structure that we're setting up now with this particular thing is what we're going to have at least for a year.
Yeah.
So indie licenses, indie license, yes, no? In this year, what do you think?
So the current licensing system are for individuals as it stands right now. We don't have a system for corporates yet, but we probably should think about that in the next month to try to come up with a solution for that. But so me and Juice spent quite a bit of time. This is going to be a little bit longer than the yes or no, right? But just basically, me and Juice had a really long chat with Jo. So Jo is our CEO. She's amazing. So she came back with a set of suggestions for updates that was unbelievably good. So we had people who hated subscription, people who didn't mind subscription. We had people who wanted to pay maintenance updates. We had people who wanted single updates. You know, there were all suggestions because obviously you're all different kinds of users. So if you're freelance, you know, if you're on a subscription and you get into trouble, the last thing we want to do is drop you in it. So the aim now is obviously we've got a very simple system, which is just basically for our existing users to hopefully get you involved straight away, give you the share, you know, get you involved, right? Longer term, our aim is to create a highly flexible system whereby it will cater for corporates, pros, everything. Actually, let's just deal with the pro issue. So at the moment, Lightwave is a one-off package, right? Longer term, if let's say we had a character animation system, a new character animation system that is, let's say, using AI to tidy up the rigging, right? But let's say we want to add in character sets and then further development, we might end up doing modules you add on that basically take it to a higher level. So you could potentially see at that point, and we honestly know we haven't really discussed that because we're not at that stage yet, but there is a potential that we could produce a very low cost version for students, or free for students long term. One that basically is for the standard users, and then there is a pro version which might be, if you're a character animator, you can get the pro version of the character suite of tools, bang. Or if you're an architectural version, you can get that suite of tools with the Lightwave, bang. And, you know, so bundles, if you like, that fit specific markets, gaming one, etc. So I don't think anything is off the table, but our aim is to make it as flexible for as wide an audience as we can to offer you all options that make you comfortable, that don't sort of restrict you. So again, the big question, obviously, which has come up over the last 2 weeks, was subscription. And I answered this last time about subscription. So we won't just be subscription based. We may not even have subscription, but I think chances are we'll have some kind of subscription and some kind of maintenance option and some kind of single seat you buy it option. So we'll end up with multiple different things. But one of the just a quick point about subscription. One of the biggest problems with subscription is complacency. So when I bought Maya and when my friends are buying Maya, the biggest complaint they have is they get very, very little update for the amount of money they're having to spend each year. And the really crap thing for them is if they're in trouble or if they can't afford the update, they're switched off. So they pay basically for an update that is minor, and then they basically can be switched off if they're in trouble, and no one gives a damn, right? So if we do a subscription model, first thing is we will never switch people off in that way. So the aim was to do, we'll do a backstop version of Lightwave. So let's say that's 2023, right? You buy the 2023, you're on subscription, but then suddenly get into trouble. We won't switch that off. So that will be yours, right? So that basically covers that. Now, if you haven't finished paying the actual cost of what that costs at that point, so you're only 6 months in, we'll give you a sabbatical. So we'd make sure we give you a couple of months off till you get your next job, and then you can start paying the subscription again if we did that version. But the aim is to always have the back of the animator and try to make it so that you're always protected. That's the first thing. The second thing is, if we ever give you a shit update, an update that's not worthy of the money you've spent, I would never forgive myself. B, Juice would never forgive me. Elmer would never forgive me. None of us would ever live with ourselves. I am an animator. I want my updates Juice wants it. Juice is an animator. We all want our updates to be off the chart good. Okay, so if we do subscription, I promise you now that as long as we are doing it, running it, owning it, whatever, we will always give you exceptional value for money on every update we do. Whether you're buying it outright, whether you're renting it, whether you're subscribing, whichever method you are buying it or getting it, a pro version maybe if we do that, it doesn't matter. We want to give you the best updates you've ever had in Lightwave, and we want to make sure those updates are also continually updated. It isn't enough for us just to add a particle system, a new particle system or a new character system. If we add a character system, then we carry on wanting to improve it. If we aren't willing to do those basic things, why would we do it? You know, the aim has to be to give you the latest tools, the best tools you can possibly have. And if there's new technology that comes along that means that we can give you more, let's do it. You know, we want you to have the easiest life, and we want you to have the most fun you possibly can have animating, and we want to develop it fast. So this isn't a bunch of guys doing free updates or, you know, doing programming when they can in between their real job and doing that stuff. We are funding developers, and we want those developers to produce great tool sets, and that means that the faster we can get them out, the better it is for you. And obviously that means more people join, more money comes in, which means we put more money back into Lightwave, which means we can do bigger and bigger things. So just to absolutely make it clear, we don't see Lightwave as it is now as what it's going to be. We see it having multiple render engines. Some of them target at very specific markets. So for instance, remind me to mention 2015 in a second, Juice, okay? So we want to make sure we have loads of render options available, and they will be everything from real time to slower but absolutely stunning quality render engines. So we're not against CPU, we're certainly not against GPU, but we want the best of those. If we can get hybrid, we'll do that. But we also want to encourage third-party render engines to get involved. So we want that to be as open and as fun as possible. Character animation, same applies. We want that to be great. But we also want to do plant generators, terrain generators, sky generators, everything you need from beginning to end in any field to have the tools to do the job. So if we can add an architectural tool set specifically for people to do architectural visualization, let's add it. If we can add tool sets for gaming community so they can put together gaming assets quicker in Lightwave and pump it out, let's have it. There's no limit. It's simply limited by our imagination and your imagination. This is about, as if someone comes up with a great idea, it doesn't matter whether it's me or you. If you want to share it with us, obviously, we will want to try to take that and implement it. There's obviously, it's about how much money we have. The more money we get, the more we'll spend. So I'm not being paid on this. This is, you know, I earn money animating, right? Everything we have is going into Lightwave, and anyway, I you know, bar beating the screen, hopefully you've got an idea of the passion. Okay, so 2015. Okay. Sorry, bud. So 2015 being a prime example of how we're thinking about this. So a lot of the anime market stopped buying Lightwave above 2015, and that was because the anime tools in 2015 were particularly good, and then we started to break it, and then when we did the bigger updates, they stopped working entirely. So 2015 kind of got to where it got and then just stopped. So what we thought we'd do, and this is for the anime market specifically, but of course this might interest other people as well, is we are going to start redeveloping 2015 again for the anime market. So there are bugs in there that need to be fixed. We intend to fix them. If we can create more tool sets for 2015 that help the anime market, we will do it. So we don't see that there's any reason why you can't have 2015 continuing along a path, and 2020 developing on a path, right? And if possible, long term, we'll bring them together. But right now, if we end up developing 2015, maybe specifically for the anime market long term, why have the limit? So we absolutely have that on our radar too. Do you know the Japanese market is huge for Lightwave, and the people over there have not had an update for years, and it's Yoshi who manages that over in Japan is the most unbelievable guy, and we have to support that, and we intend to support that. So, I mean, I don't want to start crying, but I feel very strongly about it. So we will do. We are going to do updates on 2015, and if any of you have bought 2015 in the past, you'll be able to get those updates as well. Obviously, and still have that usable. I don't think we've worked out a methodology for doing that yet, but we'll make sure that is available as well. I don't know how long we'll develop that, because hopefully we'll remedy the anime shaders in the 2020 version of Lightwave and get them to be as good for that market as I think part of the problem is a lot of the tools that they have custom programmed for 2015 work exceptionally well with 2015. So therefore, it's persuading them to start doing those tools for 2020. But we are where we are. But we will do something for that part of the market as well. I just wanted to mention that because hopefully that gives you a little bit of the mindset about our lack of restrictions here. We aren't hampered by the old way Lightwave was developed. We have no limits on what direction we can go, where we can go. The only limit is our imagination. So we want to help those markets. The other thing, we can't do this straight away, but our aim is also to have a Portuguese version, German, French, Italian, language versions for specific markets when we can. At the moment, there's New Tech made an active decision to not make that easy, and it doesn't matter why. Me and Juice know, but the reality of it is that we are going to try to remedy that at some stage as well. So if we can, we'll regionalize it so there'll be a Chinese and Indian version. Versions basically for all territories where we can, including an Australian version. That was a joke, but basically we will do versions for each of the markets, okay, as best we can. So, and if I offended any Australians, I'm really sorry.
I was just thinking of how the text labels could be in an Australian version of Lightwave. So, you've got
"Oi!" to that.
Oh my goodness.
Man, I'm going to take so much shit for that. Anyway, okay.
One quick one that a few people have.
Hang on, version someone just posted. If I swear to God, if we've already started to do really well and have the free time, I will do a Klingon version.
Absolutely Klingon.
What can I say?
One fast question that people have been asking about is resellers. Now I know that there used to be back in the day, NewTek had resellers across the countries and across the world that sold their locally and everything like this, and then they pulled everything back and did it straight away through Clever Bridge and everything else, and it was just the one place. Are we looking at the potential for resellers?
It's difficult, isn't it? Because it's obviously one of the things when you stop doing the packaging and you stop doing the printed manuals, it then becomes significantly cheaper cost-wise to just do it online through Clever Bridge and so on. That said, I don't know how many dealers there are still out there, but there must be something which we can offer them as an option that gives them specific value that can enable resellers to sell it and make money on it, right? So we definitely need to look into that. Likewise goes with training people. So, you've got some fantastic training people. I mean, really fantastic training people out there who, again, we want to support. So obviously, Lightwave in education has dropped. I wonder why. But basically, the aim will be to try to get it back into education and obviously get it into trainers. As the popularity of Lightwave grows, we obviously want to support trainers going out there and training. We had a chat with one of our guys who is a trainer. He's fantastic, where we talked about doing a curriculum for Lightwave and do a staged curriculum training system whereby we can therefore accredit trainers to be able to learn that and follow that when training people. It is difficult. And there's things like the Dave School used to do an amazing training, William Vaughan and all those guys. I would imagine we need to come up with a flexible system, but we definitely are going to want to support trainers as well. But obviously, we've had Lightwave for 2 weeks, so
Right.
Give us a little time. We will come up with a remedy for that, and obviously the retail will come up with a solution. I'm pretty certain. We're when we started the journey on the pricing, we thought, let's do this or let's do that, and we had 2 options. And with everybody's feedback, we now have 6 or 7 options, and we're implementing that, right? So the same applies with the retail. We just need to think about it, and we'll come up with a solution. I don't think there should be any limits on what we're doing. So hopefully that gives you some hope.
Well, I'll be the one to do it, and I'll say that we are now an hour and a half into this little foray. I'm wondering if there's any. I mean, I know that we could sit here and talk for the rest of the week, but I know that a lot of people it's pushing into their clock. It's pushing into wee hours in some places, and it's pushing into afternoon in others, and some people are just waking up and discovering that we did this already. So I'm just wondering if we wanted to try to do like a final maybe wrap up kind of a feel, because
Obviously, my apologies to Elmer, you, Juice, and Joe for saying anything I shouldn't have. But too late. Hey, I mean, are there any? I mean, I don't mind staying on. I mean, what do you want to do? Do you want to wrap it up in 20 minutes, 10 minutes? What would you rather do?
Well, I'd say let's. I tell you what, let's have fun with this last half hour. With this last half hour,
Okay.
let's do something crazy. Are we ready? Let's do something crazy. Rather than people chatting in the chat, let's get a few people to come up on stage, and those who have a map or have a map. People are talking roadmap, and I see maps in my head. Those who have a mic, there we go. What do we say about?
Do you want me to answer very quickly?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to very quickly just answer the roadmap question? Because I presumably somebody's asked, right? So just very quickly, we will have roadmaps. It's obviously we can't just get one out straight away. We need to actually think about it. So there's 2 things with roadmaps we have to be careful with. So if we do a detailed roadmap, we literally tell everybody else what we're going to do, right? So we do have to be careful. So we will do a roadmap, but we probably will be fairly cagey. It will list things that we're working on that are okay, but if it's sensitive, i.e. something that's absolutely next generation or cutting edge, we probably won't put it on the roadmap, but we might put a special phrase or something that shows that's going to be something super cool. Okay, so but we will be doing roadmaps, so and our aim is to do that for every version. So just bear that in mind. There's going to be some stuff we just won't want to mention. So Giles Walker, who's part of our team, is very, very much looking at future technologies and things that are absolutely cutting edge. And I swear to God, he's much bigger than me. So if I put anything up there that gave you early knowledge of something that was cutting edge, he literally would kill me. So but we will be doing roadmaps, guys. Okay, so yeah. So
Giles
oh,
just said you've
I
got
just
more
said I
hair.
got more hair. I just didn't shave. I normally cut it very short. So it is still short, but yep, it's longer. I promise you, next time I will, go back to a skin-headed haircut. What? Do you know the only reason I do that is so I get up in the morning and don't have to do anything. How lazy is that? Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Juice. So far away. Any live people?
Yeah. Who wants to step up on stage and say something? Anyone? All right. Here we go. Look out.
Hello.
It's
So you said the Australian language version, and then you said Klingon, and I was thinking Wookiee, and that would actually make more sense compared to a lot of the icon-based UIs that I've used.
Because it's you, and because you've been actively involved for 2 weeks, if you want me to do a Wookiee version, we'll do that. Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah. So it might be after the French version, but we will, yeah, we will try to we will accommodate all. So yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. So
anything else?
Any other questions other than Wookiee?
No, I'm super happy that this is actually happening, and I'm looking forward to what you guys can do. And of course, what I've said earlier is that I will try to support you as much as I can with both money and also if other things if I can. So yeah, looking forward. You have my axe.
Exactly. So and also, I mean, you have been actively involved over the last few weeks, and I just want to thank you, obviously, and everybody who's been involved for the contribution they've made. It's been fantastic for us because we didn't have a clue what kind of response we'd get. So we didn't know whether we were just going to get a couple of people or hundreds of people. It's been unbelievable, and that doesn't include, we know there's loads of people who just popped in just to check it's happening and are then may not have the time to go on, but it's still been an unbelievable amount of people have been actively chipping in, and we will be forever grateful, really, for everybody's involvement and commitment. Some of the ideas, and we thought we'd had some things nailed, but people have added to those ideas and only made what we're thinking about better. So a huge thank you.
all right.
Thank you, I should say.
All right, we got someone else.
I'll leave the stage now.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, okay, really, really nice to see you, bud. So.
And here we come. Our next one. Yes, no. It took a bit for us to get to him. I hope he gets the notification. Marquis, you there?
Are there any more questions? Any more questions in the meantime?
Let's see. Well, I mean, it is. People are asking for memes of a Swedish Chef version of Lightwave, and the Wookiee version. So I think we're going to have to do that. Okay, there we go. Marquis, you there?
Yeah, I can see him up on the side.
Yeah, something's. I mean, I've given him. It does. All right, the accept the invite doesn't work. Odd. Well, okay. Here's Lewis.
Hey, man, Andy. First of all,
Hey, bud.
thank you for all of this and your patience and your passion to do it. That's my first thing. So thanks, man. And I have a question about. I was checking the web store and everything like that, and I was under impression that the Lightwave is now UK based, but the prices are all in US dollars. And when we put something in the store, it says dollars. But what I wonder is, how about shipping? Because I see that a lot of people here in Europe cannot buy right now. Something doesn't work, but that's gonna be sorted, okay? But since UK is not in Europe Union, do we have some kind of customs taxes on top of it?
No, I don't know the answer to that.
Is it shipped from UK or US now?
Well, it's shipping from the UK.
Okay.
For those things. So just a quick thing on the dollar. So the reason for the dollar choice is it's basically better internationally and easier internationally than the pound, right? So that's for the dollar. As far as the office goes, so although we're based in the UK, we do intend to have a US office as well, but we just haven't done that yet. I don't know when. I think me and Joe talked about potentially doing something in Delaware or but anyway, the idea of this is ultimately most of the programmers are scattered all over the world. So we've got some guys in Australia, Holland, the US, Switzerland, Austria, all over the place. So it really is an international team. It just happens to be the guys who bought it from VisRT are based in the UK. So although it's a UK company, it is going to be from everywhere. But all pricing, I think, will keep in US dollars. So the shipping price we've included should include the shipping of products. Obviously, in terms of the lightweight part of it, it is. I mean, what you're really paying for when we're shipping is the T-shirt and the
Yeah. I was just wondering. The Lightwave is download only, so yeah. Anyway,
exactly. So I think I presume that's to cover those costs.
But the thing is, when the goods come to the border, they will see the number 250, 500, or 1,000, and not just like $50, which is the cost of the T-shirt or something like that. So it could end up in a lot more.
Let me sort that out. I hadn't thought about that problem, but clearly, we need to sort that out. So I'll have a chat with Joe, and we'll remedy that.
Yep. Okay. Thank you very much, and good luck.
Oh no. Well,
I'll support you definitely all the way as before.
Yeah. So, Juice, remind me of that, but just in case I forget, I think Giles will remember. He's on as well, so hopefully, we just need to cover that. So basically, just to be clear, what that is if it comes through as $1,000, if they're doing the investment one for 5 shares, they get effectively could get the tax, even though the tax on
they get the hoodie on the border, but invoice just says 1,000. So the border is gonna say, okay, the tax is like 200 more, or something like that. Yeah,
that's an expensive hoodie. No, we'll remedy that, bud. We'll sort that out. Okay.
Okay. Cool. Thanks. Bye.
Cool. Good.
All right. Let's see. Here we go.
Hello.
J3D. Hi.
First of all, I'd like to thank you guys for doing this. And I developed plugins for Lightwave before, and the latest one was included in Lightwave at the end of being owned by NewTek. This was Metamorphic plugin.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And
that's actually.
I was wondering.
We really had a good look at that plugin over the last few weeks. Glad you're on. Fantastic.
Thank you. And I was wondering if we developers can get like an early SDK, like even a trial version before release, so we can have some plugins, like new plugins, ready on the release date when you guys planning to release.
I know that that's how I wanted to do it, even back in when we were with NewTek, and there were things in the way. But I believe that with our new openness toward third-party developers, I really feel like that this is going to be something that's going to be more of a norm than an exclusionary type thing. Absolutely, if we'll get together a list of active third-party developers. We'll probably vet them a little bit and see to it that we get everything in place and certainly get you things so that you can be ready on release day when things come out. Absolutely, I don't see any problem in that at all.
That's great, actually.
I just to back that up, absolutely, it only benefits us to get it to you earlier, and Juice is 100% right. The sooner we can get you a build that you can start working on, the better that will be. Just want to very quickly say goodbye to Andy C. I think he may have already gone, but he was just said goodbye, so I thought I'd just acknowledge it and say goodbye. But so Jay, absolutely, yeah. I mean, we'd want to support you and all third-party developers as fast as we can. So maybe that's even at the alpha stage when we're first putting it together, we can get you get people actively involved. So yeah, and by the way, very grateful for the stuff you've done already. So
thank you. Thank you for coming back. It's been a long way.
Yeah. Good. Any more?
Let me there we go. Let me see. I was looking down here to see if I could go back to Marquis, but he may have. I'm looking for him. I was gonna try to do.
Yeah, he couldn't get in, could he?
Yeah, I'm gonna try him directly. See if I can just say, boom. See if that does any different. I don't know why it would work for everyone but him. The accept button is unclickable. Marquis, I have no idea, buddy. I really don't know.
It might be because he's on his iPad, so it might just be that on the iPad the Discord is not working.
Is that what it
I'm
is?
not 100%.
Oh, okay. Well, his question: can I buy option 2 as a lightweight version? Yes, that is that. That's the come back to the mothership. So that's what that's for.
It's
Marky.
available now.
Yeah. All right.
I think also there was a. So I'm just trying to look at the questions on the side channel. Oh, anyway.
Okay.
We need to up on that
I see.
On the J3D one.
I see. On the page, it actually says these offers are for existing users only. So that might be why it's a little bit confusing.
Well, to be fair, that's what it was designed for. But I think, just to be clear, and I think I said earlier on, if someone was buying from new, I don't think there's anything we can do to stop that. I mean, it was designed based on getting old users back involved. But yeah.
Right. Okay. Anyone else want to jump up here on stage and be ridiculed? Let's see. Just kind of scanning here. Hey, CC, don't worry about it. We're accommodating. Absolutely. Raise your hand. Get up here, buddy. We got you. We got your back. Don't make me find your little icon. I'm looking for you. I'm looking for you. Why is it not listed in alphabetical order? There he is. Get up here, buddy. Come on. Do your best. Do your best. We're good. We're all friends here. This is group. Cageman, 99 free render nodes. Absolutely. I don't see us changing that at all. That's like
No.
Lightwave heritage.
Yeah, and actually on that, I think one of the things would be to the network rendering capabilities. If we can improve the ease of that
Yes.
and its capability, we definitely will want to do that. So yeah.
And as
So
far as
anything we can do.
And as far as the payment issues on the site, yes, we'll be keeping the Discord updated when we get things, when we learn things. We'll definitely try to put that in there.
Yeah, I'm just sending a text to Joe now because someone just couldn't get their payment through. So let me just do a quick update to Joe.
Kevin Washington, you had mentioned last week doing some form of town halls going forward, giving more thought to that between now and November. Absolutely. I know that we actually just talked about that today. Carm 3D on the stage. How you doing?
Hey, I'm great. I was just curious, rough idea, when do you think you might be releasing the features that we'll see in the first update?
Yeah, okay, give me just 1 second. Just finish typing this to Joe. Paper's not being sent to you yet.
Any competitive upgrade from Imagine? Oh my gosh.
Imagine.
Yes.
Now that's a piece of software. Okay, so what was the question again? Could you just fire that again?
Yeah, when do you think roughly you might be releasing the features that we can look forward to the next update?
Yeah,
so that's for the November 1st release.
Yeah.
Update. Well, I wouldn't expect that this week.
Yeah, I would think we'll have. So there might be a few things. So yeah, Juice is 100% right. I think we'll release that within hopefully next week, and there might be a few things left off because we want to surprise you when you get it. All we're saying, as I think what I said earlier on, that first update is going to be everything that people were originally expecting, plus a few more things. So whether we put all of those new things in there, I don't know, but we will. You'll get the base list for that. It's a bit like, I suppose, the roadmap. We just got to be careful what we let know when, but we definitely will be doing that.
And it's one of those things too that, I mean, we still have, picture we just got, the truck just drove up with the boxes in it that contains all the stuff from moving, right? And so we're still pulling those boxes off the truck and opening up the lids and remembering what we had and remembering, oh, that's right, that was broken. Oh, that's right, I wanted to replace that. Oh, this was really close. So we're still kind of sorting through all that stuff to be able to put together, even for ourselves, that roadmap for the first release. So it's but it is one of those things that we're going to try to be pretty open, and when we know, there's really not a whole lot of reason to hold back, and because I mean I've kind of viewed this this way. The actual release and everything, or the mention, fell so close to April 1st, we still have people thinking that it was a joke, that it was an April Fool's joke, that Lightwave was even, that this even happened. And now we've gotten a little bit further, and now it seems, it's made it a little bit more real for a lot of people. The next step that we could do would be to say, here's a list of stuff that's coming that would even make it more real. And then when we release it in quarter 4, then it's truly real. And I think that the better that we can keep people excited, the better that we can keep people engaged. And I know that a roadmap is certainly the way to do that.
Well, that sounds good to me. I was expecting a couple months, but that answers my question. Thank you very much. Love you. Bye bye.
Nice to speak to you. So good.
I think we have some parting
and I
gifts
think
on the
just
side for you when you leave. So
so someone just mentioned on the chat competitive upgrades. So again, we obviously will do that. I think. I mean, really, for the first, I suppose the way to think about it is the first two updates are for the community we've got, right? The third update will be, highly beginning to get market share, right? So we will have updates or the ability to cross grade from other packages at some point. I think we're at very early stage at this moment. At this point, though, to say when we'll have that.
all right, I'm looking.
By the way, Juice.
Yes.
Oh, no, just take a note on the 2019 one. We're getting a few questions about that. So some people didn't do the 2020 upgrade. Are we going to treat? Could we treat? We just need to check on this. A 2019 as though basically they're more or less up to date. Therefore, they can update to the new version.
Hey, we're totally flexible. I know one thing too, that a lot of people have asked about this, and this kind of dovetails in with the idea of the whole 2015 thing for anime studios. A lot of people have asked the potential, and I remember even doing this on a per case basis, even when it was new tech, that if someone bought the new version, that they could still get 2015 as a pack along. It's because a lot of people, they needed that additional license of 2015, but we weren't selling 2015. We're only selling 2020, so you get 2020, you get 2015. I don't see any problems there at all. If it's but I don't see it as necessarily being for everybody, and maybe on a per case basis for things.
Yeah.
So
I think that's yeah. We need to sort of flesh that out with Joe. So let's get it done. I mean, Joe obviously needs the weekend to recover from 3 days of 10 hours sleep. I think.
Right.
So, but let's get it done next.
Also, seeing the store is not accepting payments from Canada. Store can't accept payments right now. So evidently, the store is being swamped right now by people who are wanting to get in on this. Which, hey, great! Oh, bad! Ooh. It's like that's.
Well, I just texted Jo. She's gonna have a look into it. It might be that we underestimated the impact. But I think that Shopify is set up to handle a shed load, so it's more likely to be just we've hit a glitch and it just needs to be remedied, and I'm sure we'll get that done. So in the next hour or something. So
just need to.
I'll try to do an update. By the way, if I hear back from Joe, even after the chat's finished, I'll try to put an update up later. On the side, sort of just to let people know where that's at. All right. So.
Right. And I know that there's been questions about Nevron Motion and Chronosculpt. That software we do have. So that tech we do have. And I know that we have talked about what we can do to bring that forward, bring that, either improve it, integrate it, whatnot. It's on our plate. It's on our planning things, but I don't see this in the first two releases. I think this is something that's going to be down the road a bit. So.
Yeah, I mean it's the Nevron Motion is old, and obviously that was done for the PlayStation camera and
the Xbox. It was actually the Kinect. It was for the Xbox Kinect.
So the Xbox, of course,
which they don't sell anymore.
No. So, but I mean, in terms of the motion capture, so there are texts that we're looking into where you can just take a camera, shoot it at your face without markers, and capture motion in. So there's a whole area there we're looking into. Definitely something we want to add. So if you think of Nevron motion being, what would be the next generation on from that is something we're definitely going to be looking at. And Juice is right. I doubt if we'll get that done in the first two updates. As far as the sculpting tools go, so obviously that hasn't been updated for a very long time. We definitely want to update that. So there's two things there we've got to think about. One is actual sculpting in 3D and creating new geometry, and the other one is sculpting and adjusting fixed geometry, right? So so the existing sculpting tool, it basically takes existing timeline geometry and allows you to adjust it and alter it over time. We need to modify that or update that. That is definitely something we want to do, but that is not the limit of what we want to do. So we do want to add our own sculpting tools into Lightwave as part of its core feature set. We're looking at methodologies of doing that right now. We'll obviously let you know as we start to bring that forward. So do you remember a little earlier on I said, in longer term, and remember this is a 5-year plan, but the longer term aim is that if you want to sculpt, we want to have an answer. If you want to do painting in direct on a model, we want to have an answer. If you want to do terrain generation, we're going to give you an answer. If you want to have a state-of-the-art character animation system, there's no limit. But obviously sculpting is obviously we need to get something in there for that. And Elmer, Juice, and me have talked about it fairly, extensively.
Marquis fixed his
Marquis
button.
Yeah, it just worked. I receive another notification outside of the app, and then it's working.
Nuts.
Fire away. Thank Lord you're in. Right.
Oh, but you already answered my question.
Oh, bugger.
But I had another one. Okay, so what about a geometry node or something equivalent to Houdini inside Modeler? So we could have a non-destructive workflow in Modeler.
So the non-destructive workflow is probably more a Juice question than me, but the geo nodes are coming.
Yeah, I have talked about this in Modeler. And there's a bit that's going to have to be. That's not easy. I'll just phrase it that way. You're certainly not going to see it in the first two updates. But I know that I know that it's part of my desire. It's part of many people's desire. So I mean, it's on our sheet. It's on our wish list. We're already looking at how to do it. But it's the main thing is that it's kind of like, okay, yeah, I see how we can do it. That's going to take some work. So just know, best I can say is we want it, just like we want to have sculpting, just like we want to have texture painting. We want to have non-destructive, workflows in Modeler. And that might even, be one of those things that bridges the gap even between having, the modeler ability in layout. It may be easier just to make that non-destructive workflow happen in layout directly rather than be strictly in modeler itself. So the workflow may be different. But I know that the modeling non-destructively is one of the things that we'd like to do.
And just to be clear on the modeler, the out of the two parts of the program, a lot of work has been done to update the code in the layout. Modeler has got a lot more work to be done, right? So the first thing we've got to do on the modeler is consolidate some of the tools so that the duplicate tools are merged and improved. But there are a stack of things we've got to do under the hood on the modeler, which are going to take time. There's not a hope of us doing that in 6 months. It will take us over a year. probably more, closer to a year and a half, 2 years to sort Modeler out fully. But we will make some improvements very quickly. But just to be clear, Modeler does need more work. I think that takes me back to the original thing about the hub and merging Modeler and layout. I think if you were trying to make one interface package, which there are definitely some advantages for, that's one thing. But actually, if you are going to keep both and try to have the best of both worlds in layout, but still keep the modeler, we need the modeler to be an incredibly good modeling system that's fast, quick, can handle big data sets, and all of that at the moment. It's still a good modeler, but it can't handle massive data sets as easily as we would like, and we've got to improve all of that, and that's just going to take us time. But we are going to do it. So just bear with us a bit on that, but we will get that there eventually. Someone just asked, have we got any screenshots for 2023?
Right.
And your reaction was 100% right, Juice. No.
Face palm. It's like, Lord.
Not yet. No. 2 weeks in. Yeah, just bear with us a little. No, we
Marky, anything else?
No, thank you.
Welcome.
So
thank you for coming and asking the question. And also, by the way, thank you also for getting involved so heavily over the last 2 weeks. So much appreciated.
Yeah, and also my friend is still waiting for your call. My friend Lance.
Oh God, I did the first one, but didn't do the second one to him. So could you do me a favor? Apologise to him and kick my ass on that tomorrow. Would you mind? So give me a real reminder tomorrow, and I'll do it. Okay?
I'm sorry, the sound is cutting for some reason when you speak.
No, that's okay. It does that. It does that in real life. So, can you hear me now better?
Yeah.
Okay. So I did forget. I apologise. Could you apologise to him for me if you get a chance?
Okay.
And then remind me tomorrow, and I'll contact him for you. All right, or contact him for us.
Do you want him to contact you by phone or something?
By phone?
Sorry, Bob?
Do you want him to contact you by phone?
I will be on here tomorrow, so even if it's on here, by phone, whatever, all good. So just kick me and I'll get it done. Okay?
Because he wants to write an article about you and your project.
I know. Yeah, I did email him, but it obviously didn't get through. So the trouble is, I then moved on to other issues. I've got other things we're trying to do. So I really cannot apologise enough. I will get it done. So just kick me tomorrow, and I'll sort it out. Okay.
All right, no problem.
Thanks, bud. Brilliant.
So in the long run, like in 5 years, you intend to implement a little bit of everything in Lightwave, so you don't need another side application to do the work.
Yeah. So I mean, the problem is obviously that list is huge, but if we can, we want to make a one-stop shop. So we have no issue with playing nice with the other people. So if we can make getting Houdini scenes in and out of Lightwave easier, we want to do it. If we can help with any package getting stuff in and out, we want to do it. But we also recognise that what made Lightwave great in its peak was that it was able to do a lot of everything that could be used to make creating cost-effective shots for TV shows all in one package, right? So whereas in a lot of studios you get modeling experts, layout experts, character animation experts, it tended to be that a lot of the Lightwave guys were all-rounders. They were generalists. But those same generalists were the ones who did, the Babylon 5, did the Star Treks, and they worked across multiple shots. And that's because Lightwave was relatively easy to use in all of its areas. Now, actually, some of that friendliness has been lost in Lightwave. It just became, complicated. Some things weren't explained well enough, no tutorials, etc. So our aim is to get it back to that stage. It is to get it so that you can do most of the things animators want to do really easily, and if they then dig under the hood, it can take things much further. But if we can get it so they can do terrain, plants, character animation, everything in one package, so that the animator, so an individual animator can compete against a studio. That's what Lightwave was originally about. It was about making, a small team of animators punch way above its weight, or an individual animator punch way above his weight. So that has to be the mantra. It's to get back to making things fun to use, easy to use, quick to use, and give you an immensely powerful tool set in which you can apply that to the jobs you are creating. It means that you earn more. It makes it harder for other people to compete with you. If we can give that by the end of 5 years, we'll have done what we are planning, what we've wanted to do for, frankly, the previous 5 years. So that is what the aim is. It's to give you as much of a one-stop solution as we can give you.
Will there be a repository of a kind of a place where we can see the problem and things that we want to do and a solution for that problem? For example, this week I asked for a dynamic Boolean animation, and somebody gave me the solution, but probably other people would benefit to find that solution eventually, not just me. And it's on Discord right now. So will there be a place where everything will be explained for every type of things we can do with Lightwave?
Yep. So absolutely. So you may have missed this right at the very beginning, but what I talked about at the beginning was having so just to explain where we are. So the website we've just released is I suppose a temporary website, because basically VizRT didn't have the access codes for the old website. They're getting them to us, but they hadn't got them to us yet. So we couldn't get that ready and revamp it at all. So we created the current website just as a temporary stopgap. That obviously that's what that is. So when we get access to the full website, what we intend to do is revamp it, modernize it, but we want to have an area on there for tutorials and support. And the aim is really to try to give you answers for almost any scenario. Now, obviously, it's going to take us a while to build up, but we want the community to be actively involved, and we'll develop that ourselves as well. So we want to post tutorials, but also if other people post tutorials to us, we might head and tail them so they have the same look. But fundamentally, we want everybody to chip in with solutions, ideas, and solutions for general problems that people might be having. So yes, to answer your question, it is imperative to us to get it back to the way it used to be with the Lightwave community. So, and again, you may have missed this. When I started, I got the help from people like Ron Thornton, who was doing Babylon 5, and I think at the time he was doing Sequest, which was Sequest before Babylon 5, I think. Anyway, he certainly was around it and helped me a lot. And I had the help of numerous animators around the world who were Lightwave guys, and they were super friendly, always want to help. They always wanted to give you solutions, and there was just no ego. And I want to get back to that with the Lightwave community. Get it so that we all help each other. So if I have a solution, I'm going to post it, and if I have something I can do a tutorial on, I will do it. I mean, I've done it to some degree in the past with when Hypervoxels was at its peak. I used to post sort of tutorials for how I did the smoke doing this, or how I did this in Hypervoxels, and I don't regard those things as secretive. I know a lot of animators who use Maya don't like to share their techniques. I'm exactly the opposite. If I can show you something that will help you win the next job or complete the next job you're on, that's awesome, because hopefully then that person will find a technique that will help me complete a job, right? So that's what we need to create, and so I very much intend to have that on the next website. It might take us a little while to implement, but absolutely want to have an absolute first-class support mechanism for the whole of the Lightwave community. And by the way, that also includes an actively open asset store. So obviously we will have some people might want to sell asset packs and things and sell them, but we're also going to have a lot of users who might want to supply a chair, a table, a house, or whatever, and give those for free on the website so that community can access models to help them when they're creating their scenes, and the same goes for textures, and maybe even moves or whatever the case may be. Everything we can do to make that community stronger and make it as complete as we can possibly make it for the end user. By the end of 5 years, I want to, or we, I keep on saying I, but it's we want to create as much of a standalone program that can do everything in one package. That's one. And a huge support mechanism behind that will enable those people to go and grab assets and just use them for free. By the way, there's a lot of assets given away with Lightwave anyway, but if we can make that significantly bigger, great.
Hey, Andy.
Yep.
You want to share something?
Yeah. What's that?
Well, I mean, you've already been talking about it. I mean, I could share it. You want to take a look at the admin channel real quick, just to see what I've got on tap? Just quickly take a look there. I don't know how this would share actually in this stage setting, but we could make it so that those people who left, would be kicking themselves. And just
where am I looking?
Look in the admin chat. So the admin general for us on this server.
So I'm on the general one. Yeah.
And Marquis, anything else?
No.
No.
Thank you very much.
Sure thing. Absolutely. Glad to hear from you.
Thanks, Marky. Great to hear from you, bud.
Did you find it?
So there's a picture you posted.
Well, that's a picture, but there's a video too.
Oh, okay. Oh, I haven't got the video.
So, I mean, I could share that if you wanted.
Post the video on the Skype. Post the video into the Skype, and I'll have a quick look.
Okay.
Or is it in? Oh, is it in this admin? I'm so sorry.
It's in this
I think I was. Yeah. Okay. So I see the screenshot.
Right. Just above that is the IRMB M4V. If you click on that.
Okay, I'm watching now. Give me a second.
Uh-huh.
I was on the wrong admin, bud. So I was in the our one. Okay, let's have a look. Oh my god.
What do you think? You want to show that?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's probably a good idea. That's fantastic. In the layout.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
So you want? All right.
Yeah.
You want to do it, or do you want me to?
Yeah. I just want to see where this is. This Oh yeah. Yeah. No, Bud, show it. It answers Marky's question.
Yeah, it does. All right. So I'm going to share here. I'm going to share this. And say,
we are terrible being you. We can't stop ourselves, can we?
No, we can't. So everyone's seeing this. And yes,
so it's real-time Boolean.
This is GeoNodes.
Yeah.
And why is Brazil not in the shipping address list? I do not know, Mauro. I will make sure that the team gets that notification.
I'll type it now to Joe.
There you go.
So.
So now I will stop that streaming. So there you go, guys. Exclusive. You saw it here first. So there you go.
That is so cool. Yeah. So yeah. And animatable and just fantastic. So yeah, that got a good reaction. The little baby. Well, that's That's actually terrifying. But anyway, yeah, cool. Yeah, oh,
right.
yeah, Kermit. Yeah, that's good. Thanks, Mike. Right, brilliant.
All right. So, well, I mean, since it was live, Delant, it's I mean, that's raw. So, I guess really it would be CPU because I doubt that it was pulling anything. So, all right. I'm looking at 217. We're down close. What do you say? We just end on that high note?
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe I spilt the beans and you then cooked them. So fantastic.
Well,
That's
I'm going to give some
that,
credit there to Elmar because he was like, let's just go ahead and share it.
oh,
What
did
the
he get the
hell?
video done?
Yeah, Elmar was
Oh,
like,
bless it.
let's just go ahead and do it.
Yeah, a huge thank you, Omar, for doing that, bud. Awesome. And yeah, and obviously there's going to be more. So
Yes.
I can't. I was almost gave something else away, but that's
Yep.
That's okay. Well,
That's all right.
it's yeah, it's going to be
Stay
good.
tuned. Stay tuned. So,
Yeah.
all right, guys.
So guys, I mean, I suppose we're time to wrap up. I hope all of you are happy with what we're doing and obviously where we're going. Just to reiterate on the updates we posted, obviously, hopefully, the more of you who do that, the better it is going to be for us getting everything done quicker. So obviously, if you can do it, get involved, get your share, get your T-shirt, and get involved, and keep on coming up with more ideas, more suggestions. I love the chats. I think both. I mean, there's so many great ideas that have happened over the last 2 weeks that have inspired us and fired us up. And there were things have come up that we've thought about years ago and forgotten about, and then someone brings them up, and they're just wonderful and so obvious that we've got to do things. Hopefully you've got a bit of the idea of our passion for this. We absolutely love Lightwave and love you guys, and the only reason we do it, I suppose, is we want to make you guys proud of the software and of using Lightwave, and so I cannot thank you enough. We truly had no idea what to expect, and it's blown us away how wonderful you guys have all been and kind to us, and so much time spent chatting with other users. All of the little tutorial videos, the demonstration videos, the still art, all of that stuff has just been amazing. So a huge thank you, and I promise you we'll deliver you something stunning, both in the short term, but really in the long run. We're going to give you something super, super good. So, and obviously, Juice, thank you, bud, for moderating this, because I'm incompetent and couldn't have done it. So, yeah, and remember, buy the shirts, buy the products. Okay, so
Yes,
it all goes into Lightwave. Okay,
we just need to fix the store a little bit. We just need to get the store fixed so that
no, we'll get that
and we're
sorted
working
out.
on that. Working on that.
Yeah. So the days of being embarrassed about using Lightwave have gone. It's time to re-get the pride back. Okay. So huge thank you, and obviously everybody who's been involved today on this. Spread the word. Keep coming up with stuff, and I'll be online again later on if anybody has any more questions. I'm sure Juice will as well. So that's it. Thank you.
Guys, appreciate it. Hats off to you guys. Hats off to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. That good, Juice? Close down?
That's good. I'm going to close them down.